You hear the name Winston Churchill, and you probably think, Titan, right? I mean, his words literally shaped the 20th century. But what about beyond those epic speeches? What was he really thinking about all the complex issues of his day? Well, we're about to dive into a new guide that's built to answer exactly that. We all know the quotes, right? This one, this was from his very first speech as prime minister. He wasn't promising some easy win. No, he was laying out the raw, honest-to-goodness price of just surviving. And with those words, he pretty much forged a nation's will to fight. And then you've got this one. We shall fight on the beaches. I mean, come on, it's pure defiance. This was said during Britain's absolute darkest hour, and it became this anthem of courage. It was a promise that no matter what, the flame of freedom just wasn't going out. And get this, even after the war was over, his words were still shaping the world. This line right here, "An iron curtain has descended." That was in 1946. He literally gave a name to the Cold War. It just goes to show you, his foresight was every bit as sharp as his famous wartime speeches. Okay, so these are the phrases that are just burned into our collective memory, right? They paint this picture of the iconic wartime leader. And that's the Churchill we all think we know. The legend, the voice that still echoes today. But, and this is the big question, what's behind all that? I mean, those grand speeches are amazing, but what about the nitty-gritty? What did he really think about the super complex stuff, the issues that not only shaped his world, but are still shaping ours today? Because when you look at it, the sheer scope of his mind is kind of staggering. He had these deep, really complex opinions on everything. We're talking free trade, naval power, social welfare, heck, even space exploration. Seriously, trying to piece all that together into one coherent worldview, it's a lot. It can feel pretty overwhelming. So the question is, how on earth do you navigate that? It's like a giant labyrinth of ideas. How do you get past the huge, larger-than-life legend to really understand the detailed, super nuanced thinking of the man himself? Well, what if there was a guide, a beacon, just like this quote says, something designed specifically to light up that maze and make his incredible intellectual world, well, accessible to the rest of us? And that's exactly what we're looking at today. It's called the Churchill Dictionary by Isaac Volt. And it's basically presented as your faithful companion if you really want to dig in and engage with Churchill's wisdom on a much deeper level. Okay, so how does it actually work? I mean, how does a book like this take that huge, complex web of ideas and turn it into something you can actually use, something clear? Let's take a look inside and see how it's put together. It all starts with a really simple but super powerful structure. So you take a core concept, let's say his famous opposition to appeasement. The book just gives you a crystal clear definition. Boom, right there, you've got the core of his whole argument. And then, and this is the brilliant part, it pairs that definition with Churchill's own unforgettable words. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile hoping it will eat him last. Wow. That metaphor just perfectly nails the essence of his warning, doesn't it? It's short, it's powerful, and you are never, ever going to forget it. All right, let's try another one. Leadership in crisis. Same deal. You get a direct, focused definition that just sums up a huge part of his legacy. It's that same consistent, super easy-to-follow format every time. And then you get the quote that really captures the spirit behind it all. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. See how that works? The definition gives you the what, and the quote gives you the why. It's this simple definition plus quote formula that makes his really complex ideas instantly gettable and totally memorable. So you're starting to see the method here, right? It's not about reading these long, dense essays. It's about giving you a direct path to understanding, just one core idea at a time. Simple. But that clarity is really only half the story. The other half is the absolutely incredible range of topics this thing covers. For instance, the book gets right into his fundamental beliefs, like his fierce, lifelong defense of free speech. It also digs into his surprisingly modern takes on issues. For example, he was keenly aware of how new technology, things like tanks and air power, was completely changing the face of war. And this was way before most people in his time caught on. Then you've got his really nuanced views on society. Like, for instance, did you have any idea that Churchill, who a lot of people just see as this staunch conservative, was actually an early champion for things like unemployment insurance and a social safety net? Kind of surprising, right? And then it gets into stuff that will almost definitely surprise you, revealing a mind that was always looking to the future. I'm talking about his writings on the possibility of extraterrestrial life and the future of space exploration. No joke. So when you put it all together, what this dictionary gives you is the full picture. I mean, everything from wartime strategy and global diplomacy, all the way to social policy and his thoughts on the future of humanity. It's all in there, and it's all organized and super easy to find. So, okay, why does any of this matter? Like, what's the real point of exploring his mind today? Well, this pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? It's about grabbing some timeless wisdom, learning about leadership from one of the masters, and getting some real historical perspective. Not to mention, finding some daily inspiration in just how resilient he was. So if this quick look into the clarity and just the sheer breadth of Churchill's mind has got you curious, well, consider this an invitation to go a little deeper. Look, this isn't just about reading history, it's about really engaging with the ideas that made history. It's a chance to kind of arm yourself with the wisdom of an absolute giant. And for anyone who wants to keep this journey going, we've put a link to purchase the Churchill Dictionary right there in the description below. Think of it as your own personal key to unlocking the mind of a legend.